Hey, everybody, and welcome to our episode. Ooh, what number is this? 9? 10?
I think 10.
10, you're right. We started with fundamental number 17, keep the faith, and now we're at fundamental number 27, celebrate success. So welcome to episode 10 of our Fundamentals for Success podcast series, all part of our Love Strong podcast here at Diamond C. I have got a woman who you should already know as soon as the camera came on, but I'll introduce her. She is the founder, the queen of Diamond C, Kim Crabb.
Hello. How are y'all?
Welcome. She didn't want me to do a cheesy intro, but I can't just not introduce the woman that held this place together for 36 years, with her passion and spirit. And so thanks for coming on. I took a lot of persuasion. I know you're not necessarily, what do you call it?
Excited.
A hog for the camera, right? You don't just love to get in front of the camera, but the people and the team members love you, and, our customers and dealers that we've had for years.
36 years.
Yeah, we've had some dealers for that long.
One is
we have
still
one.
with us. Yeah.
There we go. Shout out to...
Well, never mind.
Okay, there you go.
That's all right. It's a different name now than it was in the beginning.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So,
okay.
36 years, you know who you are. Thanks for being a loyal customer. But this week, I brought you on because who better to talk about this fundamental number 27, celebrate success. And so, Kim, I'm going to read the fundamental real quick, just so that we get it word for word and really examine everything that is put into the writing and the purpose behind the fundamental. And so, fundamental number 27, celebrate success. Catching people doing things right is more effective than catching them doing things wrong. Regularly extend meaningful acknowledgement and appreciation in all directions. Yearn to set an uplifting and encouraging tone for the team. So, when you hear that, and when I read that, and I thought, and I was in my planning, I'm sitting at my desk trying to plan out and roadmap out, all the fundamental podcasts over the next 90 days, over the next quarter. And I was trying to think of who could I bring on to really give some good insight and who embodies and lives the fundamental celebrate for success. And so the first 3 people I asked didn't want to do it. And I ended up getting, no, that's a joke. That's a joke. No. And so who better than Kim Crabb? And so I'm going to take you on a quick history lesson before I turn her loose to tell her all about the amazing stories of celebrating success that she has in her tenure here at Diamond C. Is in the past, at some point on a stormy day, lightning struck and hit the stone tablets, and the core values of Diamond C were founded. And if you don't know what those are, they're probably on the wall somewhere around here. The core values are do work and love strong. And it's over here on this wall. You probably can't see it in the camera angle. But do work and love strong. And so in the tablets etched in stone from the lightning strike, do work was a representation of Mike Crabb, her husband, other co-founder of Diamond C, Road Clipper Enterprises, if you will. And do work represents, the hard work and the sweat and the effort it takes to put in to build extraordinary trailers and high quality product. And that was from the start something that they focused on. And on the flip side of that,
absolutely,
and Kim was the love strong. And that's what we're going to talk about today, was that we want to do work, but we also are highly and heavily focused on loving strong. And including that is that idea of celebrating success, making people feel appreciated, letting them know and set an uplifting and encouraging tone for the business. And I'll go out on a limb here and say that if you hadn't been so successful and intentional about celebrating success and loving strong for 35, 36 years, we probably wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be able to do this and stand here in this podcast studio interviewing you. And so what I want to do is open it up, and I want you to kind of go back into the beginning days of Diamond C and give us some stories and how you were so intentional and what loving strong really looked like back in, year 1 of Diamond C.
Yeah. Well, I worked at another trailer company for a few years before we opened Diamond C. And because of the seasonal building and orders back then in the 85, because of that seasonal, they had a tendency to hire people and then let people go and then go back out and look for people again. So anyway, after they closed, when Mike and I talked about opening Diamond C, I said, well, you have to promise me that we won't do people like that, because I felt like when we hired people and gave them a job that gave them some outlook to their life, that they were fixing to be able to support their families and this and that. So I didn't want them being able to come and go unless they wanted to. So therefore he promised, and God blessed us that we never had to do that. We may not have had as much work in the wintertime, but we were able to space it out where they got to keep their jobs. Fortunately, some of those men would leave for a few months for various reasons in the winter, go back home to Mexico. Some of them did that, and that helped us too. So anyway, so from day one, even before then, I've always felt like that I loved people. I always felt like I wanted to be helpful, and I wanted to make them feel good about themselves too. So that's why it was important that once they got that job, I hoped they got to keep it for as long as they wanted it.
Absolutely.
So we opened Diamond C, and we did every year celebrate the success of, at that time, just making it another year. We might have we had about, I guess the first year probably we ended up with maybe 20 employees by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so that was good. And so we would celebrate with a cake and a cookout. And so we liked and enjoyed doing that. Back then, with the company smaller, I even walked around all the time out in the shop and said, hey, how are you? Thank you for being here, whatever. So then the company as a whole has had some great successes. 1993, we got to move out of our backyard out here to the industrial area of Titus County. And so that was great.
Yeah. If you didn't know that, they not only started a business with, just a few handful of employees, but
and pole barns.
It was a pole barn in the back of her barn. She's running out of her own kitchen, cooking out for these guys, bringing water from her own household fridge. And so you moved out here to the industrial complex out here in Titus County, Mount Pleasant, Texas, and what happened then?
Yeah, well, and some of our guys that worked for us at the time, them with Mike built the buildings, the first two buildings themselves. They did. And we kept operating at the old place till we were ready to move. And anyway, so we moved out here, and again, God blessed us with the growth of our company. And so it kept growing. Yeah, there's been over the years definitely some downtimes, some rough times. And I felt during those times we couldn't possibly, due to circumstances, celebrate as I would want to celebrate.
Sure.
But still, you can still walk out there and say thank you, or we appreciate you, or you're doing a good job. Today, the IT is going through a lot of stuff, getting us a new software program going and stuff, and they've put in a lot of hours. So I make sure every day I try to tell all of them, thank you so much for all you're doing.
Absolutely.
And if I can help, I would. But I'm not smart enough in that area to help.
Me either, yeah.
So there's no help there. But anyway, we've done other things. In fact, more recently, we've had some trying times because of COVID, because of product availability, this and that a couple of weeks ago we kind of semi-shut down and had try to clean up. We got in some components and stuff to finish out some trailers that had just been sitting to the side.
Yeah.
So we had a lemonade day.
Absolutely.
Jeffrey said, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So that warmed my heart. That was just a little gesture of getting fresh lemonade and a hot dog to every team member here.
Every team member. So if you don't know, we're sitting at about 560, give or take a few, on in the daily flux. We're sitting about 560 team members, and so with supply chain issues and everything going on, we kind of paused for a second. We just shut down.
Right.
Everybody was here. We were all working, but we kind of paused.
There you go.
Paused the production lines for a second. Got everything cleaned up, organized. Let some supplies come in to get the flow better. And while we were doing that, we wanted to make sure that that they acknowledged. And I don't know whose original idea, but Jeffrey's idea to do the lemonade day. And
it was, but and we were going to hire in a lemonade stand possibly.
Oh.
Well, that didn't work out. I couldn't get one. They were at different county fairs and stuff.
All the kids were still in school, right?
Yeah, and going to schools.
All the
and
lemonade
stuff,
stand kids.
Yeah, but I couldn't get one. So I said, why don't we just do it? And he's like, are y'all up for it? And I'm like, well, yeah, we'll do that. I'll figure it out. So, I mean, and I did buy the lemonade. It was fresh though, lemonade. It wasn't like from Country Time or anything.
Right.
So we got fresh lemonade.
It was good.
We warmed and cooked the hot dogs back there on our grill in the kitchen and served all of them. And
Yep.
it was very, I mean, it just warms your heart. Again, it was just a little something. It didn't cost that much. And we got to be there. It was our family that served.
Yeah.
Jacob's wife, Jeffrey's wife.
Your grandkids were all in there.
Grandkids came. And so it just felt good to hand each one of them one and say, thank you so much. We know the past few days or months have not been the easiest, but we appreciate you.
Yeah. And I think I want to kind of connect the dot here is that, a lot of people think, and you hear this a lot in business, and business can be so gruff and hard and rigid and abrasive. This idea of like, why should I thank you for doing your job?
Right.
That's what I pay you to do. You come in, you execute, you do your job. I don't need to thank you. I don't need to celebrate you for doing your job. And I think that part of the reason why, the secret sauce of our culture and what we're working and these fundamentals is the idea, and the celebrate success is the idea of that. An example of that lemonade day is it's not celebrate success, and it's saying isn't only, oh, you did more than what we asked you to do, so you get celebrated there. But if you come in, you work hard, you do what you're supposed to do, then we're not supposed to acknowledge you or thank you or celebrate you. And the reality is that that's not at all what celebrate success means, and what the fundamental, if you go to the end, let me pick up the actual wordings. It's yearn to set an uplifting and encouraging tone for the team. And so I wanted to connect that dot since you brought it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a pause. The team members were actually being asked to do something a little different, a little less, and maybe a little less stressful of a day instead of having to run the weld lines and have the welding mask and they were cleaning up, getting stuff organized.
Right.
Tying up loose ends, things like that. But we asked them we change it up. We knew things were a little bit different, a little stressful. It was a little bit of a trying time, and we wanted to celebrate the success and in a manner that set the encouraging and uplifting tone. And so, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, that's fine. Yeah.
I just think that there's a huge gap in understanding a lot of times in the business world of celebrating success doesn't mean you only celebrate when something miraculous or amazing or extraordinary happens. Absolutely celebrate those moments when someone goes the extra mile, if you will. It's on the wall there. Or if someone does extraordinary work. I mean, we do that every day here, but so maybe that's why we celebrate so much.
Yeah.
That everything we do is extraordinary. But there's so much of a misunderstanding of if you really want to set a culture and you really want to set the tone and you think about your work or your house, or your family or your church or anything, acknowledge them. Yearn to work hard to set an uplifting tone, and that's how that love strong leads through that celebrate success. So,
and I think too. I agree. They came to work. They did the job they were supposed to do at any time, not just lemonade week, but any time, and they got a paycheck for it.
Right.
Okay. So, but at the same time, I still feel they need to be told thank you.
I agree.
You did a good job, or we appreciate you, or whatever, because in my opinion, every team member that's hired is hired for a reason. If we're missing them, we're short a little bit, be it whoever it is, or if we just have an opening, we're short a little bit. So therefore, when they come in and it fills the line or it fills the department, I just want to say thank you, because it would have been a little harder on that department or on that line without you. And so thank you for filling that. Thank you for doing that. And I feel like a lot of people may not get told they're appreciated in other areas of their lives.
Yeah.
Maybe things go on at home. Maybe things go on with their families or something that they don't feel appreciated. So I hope, and my thought is that I hope not only me, but all of our team wants to be encouraging to the next team member.
Yeah.
To say, you are appreciated. We do. And I really, really hope our leaders especially let their lines know
Absolutely.
that we appreciate you, because they're part of the reason we're still here.
I agree 100%. And, while you were saying that, a thought crossed my mind of, coming to work, offering them a job, and then giving them a paycheck at the end is the bare minimum of what a business should do.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's literally the
Absolutely.
legal requirement. You enter you enter a binding agreement that you're going to work these hours, you're going to get this compensation, and that's what we were, and that's literally the bare minimum. You know, when you think about businesses of back that old school thought of, well, why should I celebrate you for doing what I pay you to do? Well, because if you don't, you're just doing the bare minimum. And how many places out there, you can think about the trailer industry and how we compete for the labor force, and in the Diamond C in this rapid growth, it's crucial. Like you said, it's crucial that we retain our team members and grow in staff. And if we go back to day one, when you talked about, you felt like that they were part of your family and you were going to hire them on, you want to keep them on all year. You didn't want to do the seasonal work. You didn't want to have to, negatively affect their life, and you weren't going to run a business that way. And we still live that way today as much as possible, even going from 20 to almost 600 team members. And so I think that if there's anything to take out of that thought and this fundamental for your home life, or if you go let's talk about that for just a second. If you think about home life and you apply this fundamental to home life, fixing your kids a meal and keeping them clothed and shelter, it's the minimum.
Right.
I mean, it's like you're legally required, or you'll be arrested for neglect, right? CPS will come, and so you think about in that parenthood, or in your relationships, and and really talking about yearning to set an uplifting and encouraging tone. How often are we doing just the bare minimum because that's what we can get by with, right? That's what we feel like this is my kids. Kids are going to act right, and I'm going to feed them, and I gave them a roof over their heads and a bed to sleep in, and they should be happy with that. And it's like, you're not wrong, but that's the bare minimum.
Right.
You're doing the least amount you can. And so here, to truly love strong, to truly celebrate success, we consistently are doing things to go. And that's why I wanted Kim to come on today, was this idea that it didn't just happen by accident, right? And you talked about it, and you said that from the beginning you knew you loved people, and that love for people is what founded that love strong mentality. Before the stones were actually etched, a story was written in your heart to say you wanted to love. If you were going to start a business, that there was going to be a family, and you were going to love everybody that came in there, and that's how it was going to be ran. And you weren't going to let Mike, or you weren't going to start the business unless you could do it that way.
Right.
And you and Mike agreed that was the right way to do it. And you said there were ups and downs, and moments where I'm sure in 35 years, I mean, anybody business that's been in business 35 years, especially starting from the ground up, you're going to have days where you're, stressed about making payroll.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to have other days where you open up a new facility and everything's great. And so it's, it's just the ebbs and flows and the peaks and valleys of business. But at the end of the day, our core values have held strong for 36 years. And that's a huge credit to you.
Well, and thank you. I felt like that I especially, but Mike too, instilled that in all four of our children.
Absolutely.
But into the boys too, because I really feel like sometimes I wonder, had Jeffrey or Jacob not felt that way and wanted to follow that, do work, love strong, would I have been okay with turning the business over to them?
Fair. That's fair.
I don't think so. But I could tell in them that they felt the same, and that they would carry that on, and it would be very important. Because even when back in the early days, we would do Relay for Life fundraisers. We would participate in the Christmas parade.
Yeah.
Just different things that Diamond C did. The boys, well, the girls too, but mainly the boys, since they're in the company, were all in the middle of that. They never told me, oh, I don't want to do that. They were there. They wanted, so I knew they love people too.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew, when we opened Joe's downtown, the coffee shop, it was mainly at first going to be just for people to come visit with old friends, just to maybe have Bible studies, whatever, and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It wasn't really at that point planned to be anything other than that.
And what did it become?
Well, then it became a church. It became I believe today too, they're kind of an assistant to the Salvation Army to help collect goods for people in need. I wish I knew right offhand, but there's so many things going on inside Joe's and Center Network downtown that, a lot of people need to visit there that can.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
she's talking
have a
about
good cup of coffee.
She's talking about,
even though I don't drink coffee.
The owners of Diamond C opened up a coffee shop. They saw an opportunity in town to create and invest in the community and create a local spot
environment
for people to come and have a place to gather and socialize and like she said, Bible study.
Come and study too. Like college kids came up there because we had free Wi-Fi
Absolutely.
for them.
I know.
Or anybody.
When I was at the high school, running the debate team in the summers or weekends, time off, they'd always gather at Joe's and collaborate there, and I wouldn't even have to come. They would it was a reason to go get some coffee, and
right.
they tell their parents they're going to go study or work,
right.
and they tell me that we're working on we're prepping for the tournament, and I'm sure they were because they would have the work show for it. But Kim,
so today, it's a little more difficult with this many team members for me to get out. So I kind of try to focus on different departments. I know one of our departments is going to go to a Ranger game, and that just excites me that they're going to go together. They're not going to take their spouses. They're going to have an outing away from here, and it's the maintenance team. And it's not that they do a great job. It's not that they necessarily are going above and beyond. They probably are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, even if they're just doing that's a job, in my opinion, that would never, ever get caught up in a company this large.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So
it's always something that can be fixed
right.
and repaired and improved. And
right.
Yeah.
So they get to take a day and they get to go to a Ranger game and they get to just be together and have some fun and not think about something broken they need to get to fix.
Right.
So that, and we've started a scholarship program for Diamond C team members and or their immediate family,
right?
To give to them. And there again, that's a kind of thank you to that team member to help with their sibling, to help with their one of their children or two or whatever, or to help with the team. We have one team member that he is himself going to college.
Yeah.
So we're proud to be able to do some scholarships, and I just want that to continue to grow.
Well, you want to talk about Diamond C's purpose to fuel the growth and success of our team members, customers, and community. The scholarship fund, the Celebrate. We even have a reimbursement program as well.
Oh, yes,
we have the scholarships, which is great, but we also do a reimbursement program for team members only.
Right.
And we have tons of the emergency family fund does a ton of great work and it's not really that's the thing is like get past the words celebrate success and really look down deep into what your end result is, what you're trying to accomplish when you celebrate success, and you'll get a little more clarity on all the things that you can do to truly set an uplifting and encouraging environment and set that culture. And that's one of the key points that I wanted to get out of this fundamental, and why I was so persuasive to try and get you over here in front of this mic, because I knew that this is, you live this fundamental, you embody it. You don't think you do. You maybe not realize it because it's just in your blood. You're not at your computer researching ways to 10 ways to celebrate success. It's like, if you need to, great, do that. There's 100 ways, but the reality is, into your heart, you got to have that love strong core value to where you love people and you just really want them to feel as part of a family, as part of a culture, and that's what we're striving here at Diamond C.
Absolutely.
And if I can make a recruiting pitch for anybody that happens to watch this, we've all worked places where people don't acknowledge you. There's 100 places, within a mile here, maybe not a mile, within 5 miles of here.
There you go.
that you can go work, and they're going to give you some dollars, and you're going to do some work, and you're going to go home, and you can come back tomorrow, and you can get the same paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, and you can do that. There's a million ways to have that exchange labor for pay, but to truly come somewhere that has a focus on creating a family, and it's not just words. We've been doing it for 36 years.
Yeah.
It's all great to post the stuff on the wall and to put it on the website, but that's all superficial. The reality is that the proof is in the pudding, that 36 years we've been here, consistently growing, consistently, having a retention rate that is half that of the industry average. There's just 100 reasons to show how we celebrate success. And if I can push that into our customers and community, to the dealers or to any surrounding businesses, to our vendors, the idea of celebrating success does not mean that we don't acknowledge the daily successes, the small moments.
Absolutely.
The choice that person made to come to work, to give us their time, to give us their energy, and do their best. It doesn't always have to be something out over the top or out of the normal.
Right.
And
absolutely.
So, well, Kim, I really appreciate you coming on this week. I know that it was that you weren't super excited about it, but everybody loves to see you, and you have so much gold, and you have so much gold in your heart and in your mind of the 36 years that you've spent here. And so, thank you. And I really enjoyed it, and I know that everyone else definitely enjoyed getting a little insight into all the stuff you've done and the true behind the scenes, the secret sauce to what's made Diamond C an industry leader in innovation, growth, and culture. And
Thank you.
So next week, we're going to be moving on to the last and final fundamental
Yes.
in the set. It's not the last episode because we started kind of in the middle due to timing. And but it's going to be invest your time. And we actually are going to have a special guest. Someone outside of Diamond C is going to come on next week. Member of the community. I'm going to save the surprise for next week, but you'll definitely want to tune in next week to see a surprise guest, special guest coming from the community to talk about investing your time. But until then, thanks for coming on, Kim, and make sure you do work. And
Love strong.
there it is.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.